This is Classic Tetris League Division 1A. Myles the Great on the left, Gerald Freeman on the right. Game number 1 coming your way in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Alright, well, these players are stacking. I will tell you a little bit about them. On the left-hand side, we have Myles the Great, roller out of the United States with an NTSC PB of 3.2 million. He's going to be taking on Gerald Freeman, roller out of the United States with an NTSC PB of 4.2. I did mention there are CTL implications, this being a CTL match. Gerald Freeman currently sitting in second place for Division 1A, having a perfect 4-0 record, having played 4 matches here. Myles sitting in third place, having gone 4-1. His only loss was to Ramations. So some implications indeed are on the line. Gerald Freeman going to get a long bar and a Tetris, as is Myles. We're through 15. They're slamming him down. It is 91,000 to playing 70. Myles having a bit of a complicated stack, as is Gerald. You could see both of these players kind of struggling with the battering of S and Z pieces. And now a drought starting to form. Myles' board is looking pretty Swiss. Gerald is nice and clean. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris for Gerald and a triple for Myles. Going to get another double with that long bar. He's at 107. Gerald Freeman at 141, so ahead about a Tetris through 30 lines. Getting another long bar and another Tetris. Myles slammed down a dirty. Myles is set up for a triple only, taking the triple with the L piece. He's still continuing to burn this out, but he's in a much favorable spot now than he was just a moment ago. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris for Gerald. Go to 187. Ooh, nice tuck there for Gerald. Gets a long bar. Has another long bar dependency in the center of the stack. Is set up for a Tetris, though. And he's going to set up for a dirty Tetris. There's a long bar and a dirty Tetris on row 4. Gerald Freeman going to get another long bar. There's a clean one after a perfect well transition. He's at 279. Myles is kind of suffering here at the first 52. He's at 169. We all see and know what Myles is capable of. Certainly very early days, level 18, level 19, even level 29 for these two players. Hey, Yepper. Welcome in. Anpu, good to see you. $238 now. Simul Tetris down the right. Myles now up to 261. 348 for Gerald. And drought starting to form now for both of our players. There's a long bar and Simul Tetris, and looks like almost identical stacks for a moment there too. That was kind of crazy. Another long bar and another Tetris for both. 307 plays 396. We're past the halfway point. Another Simul Tetris. These players knocking him down. 330 playing 419. And there's another couple of Tetrises for both. 441 plays 353. Both players are stacked up and ready for a Tetris again. Bar's going to show for both. Gerald Freeman takes a single, followed by the Tetris up to 465. 375 for Myles. So Myles seemed to have found his groove after that kind of an awkward start. Now Myles going to have to do a bit of burning here again. Has a J dependency, gets the J to get it filled. And may opt to stack up dirty, but these pieces are not cooperating. Myles has to take some burns here. He's trying not to as we approach the 100 line turn. Gerald is also digging too, so this is pace that Myles can't afford to lose, but Gerald being unable to score makes that burning a little bit easier. There's a dirty Tetris from Myles. Take that. 437 plays 500,000. We've got transition fast approaching in less than 20 lines. Gerald has cleaned up the mess. Myles with a T-spin opportunity. But there is no T in sight. Seriously, where's the T? Finally, the T comes as Myles shuts it up with an LPs, but gets another long bar for that Tetris. Takes a dirty one. He's at 467, set up for another Tetris. Gerald at 546 is set out. There's a Tetris for both. A dirty one for Myles, a clean one for Gerald. We've got level 19. Fast approaching. Myles is going to do it with a Tetris if the bar shows. Gerald is also going to transition with the next Tetris. And there's no long bar in sight. Myles going to transition with a burn at 496. Drought counter counting already at 28. Meanwhile, Gerald at 593 also encountering that same drought. Again, these players on the same piece sets. Nice T-spin there for Gerald. He's at 598. Myles at 524. Gets a long bar for a dirty Tetris. Go up to 550. This board's starting to climb for Gerald. Gets a long bar for some relief, but now he's got a massive mess to clean up top, and he is rolling and bringing it down. Myles is going to set up filthy Tetris, gets a long bar, knocks it down the center, gets a Tetris there. 580 plays 605. This board moving in the wrong direction for Gerald. And Myles is set up for another dirty Tetris. Gets the bar. Dirty Tetris again. Myles bringing this stack down 4 lines at a time. That's the best way to do it. Has caught up. This lead has been diminished. It is now 612 playing 615. Gerald Freeman ahead by only 2,500 points. Oh my word, this game got close. And Myles is clean, as is Gerald. Both slammed down a Tetris there. 643 plays 650. We are neck and neck through 169. Hey now. There's another long part, another Tetris for Gerald. Myles is ready and waiting. There's that drought counter again. 644 plays 677. There's the bar. There's the score for Myles up to 673. Would love a square. Square's going to come. And now Gerald going to have to do some burning up high. Needs a J piece or going to do a couple of flat burns. And we'll have the well open for a triple only, but it's set up for a dirty Tetris on row 2. And Gerald not getting favorable pieces. Let's see if he sets up here. He will. He's going to set up for a dirty Tetris on row 3. Gets the bar. Column 3 Tetris. 727 playing 765. Myles into the lead. Getting another long bar. Another Tetris there. 799. Now 800,000 for Myles, getting a long bar. There's a Tetris again. Go to 831. Gerald Freeman at 730. Still playing dirty on row 2. Now level 25. So about 2.5 Tetrises back. Now up only 1. It is 33,000 points separating our players. All right, we've got that level 29 transition fast approaching, less than 30 lines. Gerald still playing dirty, gets a long bar, gets a Tetris there up to 868. Myles at 933. Gerald going to continue stacking on this row 2. Gets a long bar. There's the Tetris there up to 902. Myles starting to run away with it a bit at 966, but is ahead in lines by a Tetris. So that lead not as big as it would appear. There's the max out for Myles with 1 million points. Tetris for Gerald Freeman at 937. Another long bar, another Tetris in here for Myles up to 103. This Tetris into level 29 at a max out A7. Gerald Freeman at 974, going to look to transition with a Tetris, uses that long bar in the Aki position. He's at 974, add a Tetris. There's the max out. Both players with 1 million points. Gerald into level 29 at A16. Myles with a 1.1. Another long bar, another Tetris there for Myles. These pieces are falling so fast. It is 1.15 here for Myles. Going to have a bit of complications to deal with, but he's going to be trying to bring this board down. Meanwhile, Gerald is keeping the board nice and low. We do have the double kill screen coming up here, so we will see some maybe aggressive stacking. Myles going to set up maybe in the center. Yes, he is set up for the center well. There's a long bar and over rolls. Now he gets a long bar. There's a Tetris set up for another one. There's another one. Bang, Tetris. 1,025,000 to 1,006,000 for Gerald. Separated by 200,000 points. Myles with the advantage here. But Gerald is clean with a nice clean board. Is Tetris ready? There's a long bar. There's a Tetris. Going up to 1.1, 1.27 here for Myles. And Myles getting droughted, holding up for this long bar. It is not coming. He comes for the split triple, and now has a lot of work to do. Can he get out of this? Myles is digging, but I think that left side's completely inaccessible. There's nothing else he can do. 1.27 is his top out score. Gerald, you need a 1.28. And Gerald is stacked up, almost ready, taking a triple there. 91,000 points needed. Again, your target is 1.28 million. We got about 4 lines away, or 4 levels, excuse me. And singling, doubling, trying to get access to those holes down at the bottom. He's going to set up for a Tetris. Oh, misdrop, but wow, what a snake of the long bar. He needs 68,000 points, and that left side's looking pretty tough. Oh, is there anything else he can do? He cannot get it done. 1.21 is the final score. And gonna squeak by Myles, taking game number 1. GG. Really good game number 1 here. Myles gonna look to ride that momentum into game number 2, as game number 2 is upon us in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. So yeah, Myles with a really come out of the gate a little bit slow in that game 1, but was able to shatter that lead in the post-transition and able to take it with a win there. He's going to look to have a much stronger 18 this time around. Meanwhile, Gerald going to look to continue the perfect season. But he's going to need to get some wins here, and a big win at game number 2 will certainly help get him there. Both of our players are on the board with 2 scores. Myles going to knock down a quick Tetris there to take about a 1 Tetris lead. What are the stakes on this match? Filet mignon? No. So, Myles is currently in 3rd place. Gerald Freeman in 2nd place. If Myles is able to beat Gerald, they will both be tied at 5-1. Or, excuse me. Myles will be 5-1. Gerald will be 4-1. So a way for Myles to get ahead here. Myles holding out for a T-piece or something to spin in there. Going to be able to get a long bar for the Tetris, but does have that hole in row 1. He's just going to stack up on top of it. He's ready for another Tetris. He's at 164. Gerald Freeman with that Tetris goes up to 187. Ties it up right now. We are neck and neck, separated by a single burned line. And just a reminder to you guys in the chat, if you guys want to give these players some money, you see that 224 up in the corner? Yeah, let's make that a little bit higher. You could do a Matcherino command. Contribute to the Season 21 prize pool. These players trying to get a piece of it. So head over to the Matcherino sponsor quests. I believe the coupon codes have been redeemed. Or if you want to make a direct cash money contribution, you certainly could do that as well. All right, there's a long bar. There's a Tetris for both. Myles with a dirty one, Gerald with a clean one. Myles having a awkward-looking board here, needing some very specific pieces for tucks. And he is just going to work to bring this board down. He's not going to play around. That's a nasty S-piece. Meanwhile, Gerald is clean in about a 40,000 point lead here, halfway point of level 18. Thank you, Cole. Cole in the chat saying if Myles wins, he's guaranteed top 2 in the division, but if Gerald wins, Myles still gets a playoff. King's been asking, my world champion barbershop singer. I am not. I am 20th in the world. Yeah, the Barbershop Harmony Society International Convention. Everybody knows me as the Barbershopper. We had our international convention and contest yesterday, and we finished 20th. So, very pleased with our score. Oh, Gerald not too pleased with that misdrop. He is going to be able to tidy up the board and stay Tetris ready, but unfortunately some more pieces fell that he needed to now set up some delayed burns. So he's going to be burning a bit. And just like that, he is back to clean, needing the long bar for the Tetris. He's at 427, Myles at 392. Myles going to set up dirty with a column 1. Thanks, Cole. And there's a long bar. There's a Tetris for Myles. Now, I would love a J piece. Does the J piece come, though? It is going to come. He's going to stick it where it belongs. He's at 420. Gerald at 495. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris for both. Myles up to 467. Gerald Freeman, 518. Well, Gerald kind of holding up for some specific pieces as well, but doesn't hold out too long. Sets up a long bar dependency in the center of the stack, and these pieces, they're terrible. Who made this seed, man? Who generated this? And Gerald's going to get that Tetris well back open. There's the long bar. Bang, Tetris. 551 playing 490. We got transition fast approaching. Another Tetris there. Less than 10 lines for both of our players. We'll see that speed increase 50%. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris for Gerald. He can get one more. And there's the Tetris into transition at 599. Myles going to have some burns here. Needs a J. J piece is going to come. Gets that Tetris well back open. There's the long bar going to transition at 544. So off we run these level 19 speeds. 80,000 points separating our two players. But Myles is behind in lines. Gerald Freeman getting a long bar in the Aki spot. Ready for a Tetris now. Myles is kind of... Okay, fills out that left side. Now has some burn options. Oh, but a couple of misdrops here. Okay, gets the bar in the Tetris from some relief. But you can see he's frustrated. Meanwhile, Gerald is nice and clean, starting to pour on the points. He's at 682. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris. Myles going to get a long bar here and take a double. He's almost back down to the bottom here, but he's losing pace here. But we've seen Myles turn it on in the post-transition. He's definitely going to need to turn it on here. He's at 586, but Gerald at 767 with about a 180,000 point lead here. Make it 200,000. Starting to run away with it. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris for Gerald to get back-to-back bars. He's unable to use that second one, so he has to stash it to the left. He's at 825. Myles with the head nod. Bang, Tetris. 628 playing 827. Another long bar and another Tetris for Gerald. Go to 858, level 24. And there's a Tetris for Myles. 659, so still about 200,000 points back. Again, is a level behind. Nice adjustment to make room for that L piece. And Myles at 687 is set up. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris. Gerald holding out for a J piece, but doesn't hold out too long. Drought starting to form, and this board starting to get a bit messy. Ooh, overroll of the J piece, or excuse me, the L piece. And Gerald now fighting to survive up here, up high. Oh my gosh, gets a piece over. Now needs a long bar. Gonna go flat with J. And now this is Myles' chance to catch up as Gerald is burning, and he is burning up high. Myles at 813, 913 for Gerald. So what was a 100,000 point or 200,000 point lead has now been beaten to a 100,000 point lead, and it is still. Well, now Myles having to do a bit of digging here as well. He's at 819, but he is much lower. Gerald is clean. Bang, Tetris. 957, level 27. There's a Tetris for Myles. Go to 857. So 100,000 point lead for Gerald as the 29 transition is going to be on the next 20 lines. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris for Gerald. 10 lines to go before they see that speed increase again. 890. There's a max out for Gerald. Another Tetris there, 1,041,000 into level 29. Myles at 894. And getting a long bar for some Tetris action. Where's the bar, though? Again, has to take some burns. Okay, there's the bar. There's the score for Myles. Going to have one more Tetris into transition at 977. It's going to have his work cut out for him here. Gets a long bar. There's another Tetris. 66,000 points separating our players. Gerald is singling and doubling. Myles is stacking, trying to make up for lost ground. There's a triple down the center. He's at 1,031,000. There's 1,098,000 for Gerald. And Gerald's setting up for a party down the middle, but takes the triple 1.1 to 1,037,000. Or a couple burns here from Myles. Ooh, and a couple of misdrops. Now he's going to have to do some rooftop burning. Okay, so this left side's looking tough. Oh, the misdrop of the L piece. Good long bar flat. Can he get that bar over? He can. He's at 1,000,005. Gerald Freeman still with a 1.1. He's at 1.17. But Myles bringing this down. Oh, he's going to hang a couple more pieces and 1,064,000. He's done. Gerald at 1 million. Make it a 1.2 here. We'll tie up the set 1-1. GG. We'll see what happens as Game 3 breaks free in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. And our players deviating in their stacking after 5 pieces. And both are going to slam down a Tetris with that long bar. All right, Gerald opting for some burns. Myles still perfect. Gets another long bar there for the Tetris. He's up to 45. Another Tetris there for Myles. Go to 68. There's another Tetris for Myles. Perfect through 16. Gerald kind of holding out for a square. Square doesn't show in time, so he's going to make a hole in row 4. All right, Myles is now Tetris ready, having to stash that long bar over to the left-hand side. He's at 114, so we've got a 1 Tetris lead with some change. Oh, Gerald's board. Oh, no, Gerald. Gerald gets that bar, gets the bar over. This board was monkey. Oh, my word. He does need some more specific pieces, but he is in much better shape than he was just a moment ago. Currently at 105, Myles at 162. And Gerald is bringing it down. That long bar going to burn nothing. But it is going to fill out the left and the right-hand side. That was scary. And look at the fits for Gerald. And there's a long bar for the triple. And Gerald Freeman saying, nah, bro, I got this. What were you worried about? Then for the icing on the cake, Gerald's going to set up for a dirty Tetris. He's ready. There's long bar and a dirty Tetris to out all of that. He's at 139, Myles at 254, so Gerald's going to have his work cut out for him. He's going to set up for a party down the center. And that center well turning into a juicy center well now at 141. Bang, Tetris. He's set up for another. He's at 164. Meanwhile, Myles at 278 getting a long bar. There's a Tetris for him up to 300,000. All right, Gerald is at 212, so starting to cut into that lead that Myles had, but Myles is going to fire a Tetris right back. There's another long bar and another Tetris. 134,000 points separating our players. 348 for Myles, 215 for Gerald. Myles still maintaining about an 88% Tetris rate, having gone perfect for like the first 24 lines or something like that. It's crazy. And then Gerald obviously decimating his thanks to the burn sequence up high. Now he's waiting for another long bar. Long bar coming one piece too late. Has to go S flat. There's another long bar and a Tetris, though, for some relief. 240, playing 270. Add a Tetris for both. 394 plays 264. Another Tetris there for Myles up to 417. And Gerald with a skim of a single there into the Tetris, go to 288. Still down 130,000 points here, and we are already through 89 lines. Another drought starting to form here. Gerald just taking these single burns, trying to make up for this pace. Finally, Bar's going to show, but he did have to burn quite a bit of lines thanks to the drought. Now Myles going to encounter that same drought. 29 pieces and counting. There's the bar. There's the Tetris for both. 364 plays 456. Gerald down by 92,000 points. Another Tetris there for Myles, up to 479. Make it a double, go to 502. And past the 100-line turn, Gerald is digging. Gets a Tetris well open for the double, and it's going to be only triple ready this time. There's the long bar for the triple. And maybe going to go for some left well action. Yeah, we'll get the long bar and go with the left well there. Get a Tetris, 400,000. And he's got 2 Tetrises left if he plays perfectly. There's a Tetris for Myles up to 571. And there's a left well Tetris for Gerald. Going to take a burn into transition at 424. Myles at 571 has 2 Tetrises available. There's a long bar, and there's a Tetris for 1. He's set up for another already. But he's just going to take the burns instead. There's the long bar, and there's the Tetris, and Gerald topping out at 424 right after transition. So Myles at 620 going to take game number 3 and is now on match point. Finish off Gerald here with a 3-1 victory, or will Gerald force a decider? Let's find out, because game number 4 heads your way in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Hello, Sawdeath. Welcome on in. Kingsman, great to see you. Cold Bucket. Akatu. Welcome on in. You're just in time. All right, both of our players have scored a Tetris and are ready for another one. There's the bar. There's Tetris. All right, Gerald is ready for a Tetris. Did have to take a burn. Myles going to have to take some burns now as a drought starting to form for both of our players. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris for Gerald, burning for Myles. And then Myles is almost out of this. And just like that, Myles going to get that Tetris well open. There's the long bar. There's a Tetris for Myles. 77,000. Gerald Freeman with that Tetris up to 117. We're through 25 lines. Yeah, this is a song from the early 80s. Or at least taking an audio sampling from President. We will skip this song. All right, Gerald Freeman, 164. Myles at 125. There's a Tetris for Gerald and a triple for Myles. 133 now, 186 for Gerald. Another Tetris there for Gerald. Go to 209. 76,000 points into the lead. Maintaining a very efficient Tetris right here. And Myles, nice delayed burn, getting a long bar. There's a Tetris, but doesn't quite get that T-piece all the way over. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris for Myles for some relief. Now needs another long bar over to column 1. And Gerald's just bringing down Tetrises left and right. Gerald's at 256. Myles at 189. Add a Tetris for Gerald up to 279. After this game, both of these players are going to say, I never want Colin to generate a seed for me ever again. All right, Myles is set up for a dirty Tetris. Gerald is still clean and has been knocking him down. Nice adjustments here to avoid dependencies. And there's the Tetris for Myles. Go to 229. Gerald Freeman at 348. I need something for that left side. Going to get a couple of pieces here. And just like that, gets well open. There's long bar. There's another Tetris. Let's make it a double. Myles going to knock down one as well. We're through 80 lines. 274 for Myles. 395 for Gerald Freeman. And that's true. One of the players at least like this seed. 418 through 83 lines. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris for Gerald. Myles getting up very high. Did get a long bar and a Tetris there. And there's another long bar and another score. Go to 345, playing 441. So almost a 100,000 point lead here for Gerald as we approach the 100 lines. There's a Tetris for Gerald, 464. Another Tetris for Gerald, 487. Still maintaining an 87% Tetris rate. Oh my word. Ooh, it's some tough pieces there for Gerald, but he is going to get a long bar and get a Tetris to bring the board down, but now has a hole in row 4. So Gerald's at 540, Myles at 440, and we got transition in less than 20 lines for both of our players. Tetris there for Gerald up to 464, Myles at 440. And there's a Tetris for Myles, go up to 466. Gerald with that Tetris up to 589. Gerald could technically get 3, well now 2, because he gets a Tetris there. Myles with 2 as well, he's at 466, but a drought incoming. Is set up for a dirty Tetris. There's a long bar, and it does show, gets a Tetris, transitions 491, immediately another Tetris there up to 515. Gerald is encountering that same drought. He has 1 Tetris available. There's the long bar. There's the Tetris going to transition at 637. So off we run. Gerald Freeman is running away. He's at 143,000. Myles is looking to catch this up. We saw him make it up in the post-transition once. Let's see if he can do it again. He's at 544. Gerald's going to go to 688 with that Tetris. Both players level 20. Myles with a delayed burn, get a long bar. There's a Tetris there up to 571. Starting to cut into that lead. Only 117,000 points back. It may seem like a big lead, but as we know, as the levels grow, as do the points to score a Tetris, so we can certainly see higher scores here in the later levels. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris there for Myles up to 602. Gerald is having to do a bit of burning. This is Myles' chance to catch up if he can remain clean and efficient. He's at 629. Gerald at 721. Another long bar, another Tetris there for Myles up to 657. Gerald with a nice long bar flat. One more burn to get the well back open. It is open and established. Just needs the bar for the score. Meanwhile, Myles now having to do some digging. Sets up a long bar dependency in the center of the stack. Gonna be able to plug it in, but now needs an L piece. Oh, Myles' board starting to get a bit rough here, and a drought incoming. Able to get that over. Gets a long bar for the center. Nothing burns, but it's filled out. He needs some... Oh my gosh, Myles. Oh, Myles, he's gonna 665. He's done. And it's 787. Gerald Freeman once again tying it up. And we are going to a Game 5 decider. Gee, what was once a best of 5 is now a best of 1. Myles looking to tie up with Gerald here in the standings. Gerald looking to remain flawless. Let's see it go, because game number 5 comes alive. And it's going. Wow, I really butchered that. You see slight variation in the stacking here. And finally, the first Tetris is scored by Gerald Freeman. All right, Myles having to do some digging here. Still is not scored a Tetris. Does finally get his first. But now he's got a hole in rows 4 and 6. So he's going to have some cleanup to do. Meanwhile, Gerald is clean. There's a long bar and only his second Tetris through 14 lines. There's another long bar and another score. Again, Gerald trying to finish the season without a loss. Could do it with a big win here, but certainly Myles doesn't want to give that to him. In fact, he would love to even the score. We'll do a plug for our Matcherino one final time as well, as these players are stacking on 18. You see at 224 up in the top left corner, or right corner, excuse me. Type in !Matcherino. Do some sponsor quests or make a direct cash contribution to these players. Both of these players fighting for a piece of that prize. All of the money getting contributed going to these players. Nothing to me, nothing to Kingsman. We've got a bit of a precarious situation starting to develop here for Myles. But he's bringing it down. Gerald is still clean. He's at 173. Myles at 138. Oh, and these pieces for Myles are just not cooperating. You see these rolls, and he's keeping a very cool, calm head. He has the well back open. He's ready for the Tetris. And, of course, tries to take a burn. Nice, beautiful burn there. Myles back to ready. Oh, this bar timing so tough for Myles. Finally going to show and gets a Tetris. 174. Gerald Freeman at 231. Add a Tetris. Go to 254. There's a triple there for Myles. Myles going to continue to stack up, this time dirty on row 3. Is 182 to 277. Gerald is still clean. Drought incoming here for Myles. 22 pieces and climbing. Gerald is also going to see that same drought. Gets a T, gets the T spin. 278 now. Bang Tetris for Myles. Up to 232. Gerald at 285. Myles remaining efficient, digging this out with Tetrises. Now 234, bang Tetris, 257, 74,000 points separating our players as we approach 100 lines. A slight misdrop of the T-piece there for Myles. Gonna require more cleanup. All right, Myles going to continue this burn sequence. Gerald going to continue to score 378, playing 266. I don't think we've had a game where both of our players have had a strong 18. I think it was either one player having a really strong one, the other one suffering. All right, Myles just going to take the triple there. Maybe we'll set up here. No, he is going to make a last-second adjustment to burn it out. Meanwhile, Gerald now 140,000 points into the lead, getting another Tetris up to 448. Myles is set up for a party down the center. There it is, column 4, bang Tetris. 308 plays 448. Another long bar there, and another Tetris. Gerald Freeman up to 471. We got less than 15 lines until we see that speed increase to level 19 one final time. Long bar Tetris, Myles 353 with that Tetris for Gerald up to 495. Another Tetris there, 164,000 points into the lead now as Gerald Freeman. All right, both players with a nice clean board. Myles into transition, 400,000. Gerald Freeman going to transition with the next Tetris or 2 burned lines. Holding out for an L or a J piece. I piece will have to work. He's going to make a J dependency. There's another I piece. He's ready now for the Tetris. There's the long bar. There's the Tetris. Transition at 565. Set up for another one. Meanwhile, Myles at 450 is set up for a Tetris. And Gerald now having to do a quick bit of burning. Would love an L or a J piece. Ooh, makes a misadjustment. Ooh, and this could spell disaster for Gerald if he's not careful. He needs a long bar. And of course, the drought's starting to come. There it is. Bangs the Tetris down for some relief, but now has a bunch of holes in the board he's going to have to contend with. Meanwhile, Myles is nice and clean. He's starting to cut into that lead. This is his chance to take it. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris up to 530, making a double go to 557. Myles level 22, Gerald level 21. Gerald still burning. Myles is clean. And you may see Gerald's setup. He's got 2 long bar dependencies, so he's going to have to stash something over there. Meanwhile, Myles able to get right back into the thick of things here. Just needs another long bar to take the lead. There's the bar. There's the Tetris. 613 into the lead is Myles. 612 for Gerald. So is this going to be a repeat of what we saw in game 1? 622 now for Gerald. So we're separated by 18,000 points. Now Myles is going to have to do some burning. Gets a long bar. Burns a single. I know Myles dealing with some tough pieces here. And he's getting up high. Needs a bar. Ooh, that hang of that S piece could be dangerous. Gets a long bar. Dirty Tetris for Myles. Oh my word. 680. Gerald Freeman 683. We're neck and neck, but Myles is in a dig about next box height. Oh my gosh. And Gerald Freeman is now starting to burn as well. Gets a triple. And Myles bringing this down. And just like that, Myles going to get that Tetris well open. Great survival. He's at 700,000. Bang Tetris into the lead at 732. Myles level 26. Gerald Freeman level 25. Gerald is trying to set up for a Tetris. Getting these long bars when he can't use it. He could definitely use that one for a Tetris up to 761. Meanwhile, Myles is only 4,000 points into the lead. But with that Tetris going to go into level 27 at 799. Gerald Freeman still on level 25. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris for Gerald up to 795. 800,000 here for Myles. Another Tetris for Gerald and a Tetris for Myles. They're still trading these Tetrises. Nice 5 and below adjustment there for Myles. He's at 870. Gerald Freeman at 830. Gerald Freeman level 26. Myles level 28. Needs to get this board down before transition. Has the well open. Still has the well open, just needs the bar. And a drought incoming, 15 pieces, 16, 17. Finally going to show. Banks the Tetris into transition at 9:15. Gerald Freeman at 9:06. Still has 2 Tetrises available for that 29 transition. Meanwhile, Myles is not showing any signs of stopping. He is stacking up very aggressive. Gets a Tetris there, 966. But a couple of hangs here could spell disaster if he doesn't get the right pieces. Oh, but he's getting some pretty good ones here. He's maybe able to bring this down. Meanwhile, Gerald kind of getting droughted. There's a long bar. There's a Tetris. 949 transition into level 29 for Gerald. Meanwhile, Myles at 984 looking to get this board back down and into scoring position. And he is doing just that. Gerald is clean and ready. Has to take a couple of burns. He's at 965. Myles at 996. Myles looking to get the max out, as is Gerald. Both players are going. Level 32 for Myles. Level 30 for Gerald. Nice clean board here for Myles. Fortunately, has to make a couple holes in the board. Gets a long bar for the triple. There's another long bar for another triple. He's at a max out. That's 1,027,000 points. Gerald Freeman at 984, trying to get back into scoring position as well. Oh, Gerald's got to be careful here. Oh, that left side. Okay, able to get a long bar over there. Oh my gosh, Gerald's still digging out of this. He needs something for that left side. A J-piece long bar. Okay, a long bar is going to come. Oh my gosh, he's playing with fire. He's set up for something. There's the bar. Dirty Tetris on the kill screen. Oh my word. He's at 1,000,005. Myles with a 1.1. Oh, that Tetris was filthy. Set up for a triple. No bar in sight. He's going to top out 1,054,000. His final score. And Myles with a 1.2 and climbing is going to be your winner. So the implications, Myles and Gerald now with one singular loss on the season. Let me get this reported. And And Myles still going on the kill screen level 39. Those double kill screen, getting some lines, finishing at 335 lines with a 1.39, missing a 1.4. So GG to Myles and certainly Gerald. Thank you so much for coming out and playing. Give you guys a quick rundown of the division. Rawmation still firmly planted. His only match remaining is against Gerald. Gerald in second place with a match record of 4-1 with a 6-game difference, currently at 25 points. Myles at 31 points. Does have the most points of the season, but he has finished up his season, so he is done playing. So there's nothing he can do but watch fate decide. But he does have a 100% chance of, it says price chance for loser's bracket. So that is going to do it for that match. We've got one more in the queue. So coming up next, we are going to have Maestro and Y with a classic DAS battle. We will be right back, everybody. Don't go anywhere. And Startup A, thank you so much for giving a tier 1 sub to PD Moreland. Y letting us know that there was a fire alarm going off. Not an actual fire, but the alarm has ceased. So you should be able to play.